Part 46. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 451. Well, I just figured it out in the past few days. I didn't expect that I would use it immediately after I figured it out, Xianxia said matter-of-factly. The high-level mysterious patterns in G Seal are not only those of Yanxiangluo, but even he, who has the blood of the G family, couldn't carve them in the lower continent. After arriving in the higher continent, he has not had time to study the mysterious patterns. He has bought a house here. After settling down, he will continue to ponder the mysterious patterns when he has time in the evening. Sooner or later, he will go to the G family inheritance place to accept the inheritance. He is going to learn all the high-level mysterious patterns before going. He really didn't expect that the memory-destroying Xian pattern he had just researched would come in handy right away. Yanxiangluo sighed, "Oh, there is too little time. I don't even have time to study the mysterious patterns." During this period, she spent all her thoughts on refining alchemy and could not neglect her practice. She really had no time to study other things. Xianxia said, "You can't bite off more than you can chew. Luoluo should learn what he's best at first, and then slowly study the mysterious patterns when he has time. Anyway, I'm here. Just tell me what high-level mysterious patterns Luoluo needs." Yanxiangluo covered her mouth and laughed secretly, "You will spoil me bad." Xianxia also smiled, "This will spoil you, and Luoluo will be satisfied too easily." "Well, I am easily satisfied." What Yanxiangluo said was profound. The soul is separated and lives in two worlds. It is not easy for her to live in either world. There is so much you want, but you just can't get it. Therefore, every time Xianxia gave her a little more, she would be very touched and satisfied. Luoluo can be more greedy. Xianxia thought of her previous life and said with some distress. Yanxiangluo nodded seriously, "Well, I have to learn to be more greedy, so that I can have more and more of what I want." Xianxia thought secretly in his heart, he must stand at the pinnacle of the powerful people in the higher continent, so that he can protect Luoluo and live the life she wants and get what she wants. As long as she asked for it, he would definitely satisfy her. "What help do you need from me tonight?" Yanxiangluo asked, remembering business. Xianxia said, "Input a little bit of the power of soul control into my memory-destroying Xuanhuan, and I can erase Yuji's memory about Jiyin without disturbing the two elders." Xianxia didn't say that he had another arrangement. In order to prevent Yuji from causing trouble for them too early, he planned to find something for him to do. Yuji was very happy to do something that he didn't dare to do before, but now he can do it without any scruples. Of things. There is no need to let Luoluo know about this. Can the power of soul control be input into the mysterious pattern? Yanxiangluo was stunned. "You'll know after you try it." Xianxia had a sudden idea when he was carving the memory-destroying mysterious pattern. He didn't think so just now. He had never tried it. The main reason was that he did not have the power to control souls. Well, if it can really be input, the effect of the memory-destroying Xian pattern will be doubled. Yanxiangluo is a Xuanhuan master and also has the power of soul control, so he naturally knows the effect of the two together. "Let's have lunch first. After lunch, we will start researching and try to succeed before using it in the evening. We can't delay going into practice," Xianxia said. "There are two god-level elders in Qinglun Mountain. Will we be discovered if we go in for training?" Yanxiangluo asked with some worry when it came to training. After all, they are god-level powerhouses. If the two people who announced the retreat have not been in their residence for a long time, anyone will become suspicious if they find out. Xianxia said, "Use the formation to add mysterious patterns to make sure they can't find it." Yanxiangluo knew what high-level mysterious patterns must be combined with the formation, and said with great interest, "Let's go together." "Of course we want to be together," Xianxia said politely. After lunch, the two of them were in the room studying how to input the power of soul control into the mysterious pattern. In fact, they are creating a new mysterious pattern, but the conditions are a bit harsh. Only a mysterious pattern master with the power of soul control can do it. One of them dared to think and the other dared to do it, without feeling anything wrong at all. However, how can it be so easy to create a new mysterious pattern? Even if both of them are geniuses in pattern engraving, they have tried many methods for an entire afternoon but failed. But neither of them flinched. On the contrary, the more they researched, the more interested they became. Although they did not input the power of soul control, they did research various tips, and their work was not in vain. They didn't delay eating dinner. For the first time, the two of them ate and studied at the same time. Xian and Changfeng looked at each other. Xian lowered his voice and said, "I just said that only a girl can be worthy of the master." Changfeng was speechless. "Is this what he said? You can see this with your eyes, okay?" Changfeng didn't answer his words. "I'm going in for training tonight, are you ready?" Xian curled his lips and said, "What are you prepared for?" "Just adapt to the situation." Changfeng raised his brows and said it was true. No matter how well prepared we were, things would not change as fast as they did. Moreover, the master has reminded them that the purpose of going in is to experience and improve their cultivation and strength, so they should not use anything to assist them. Only when the body reaches its limit can it be improved. And the master said, there will be surprises after entering, as long as you can hold on, there will be more and more surprises. Hence, Changfeng is quite looking forward to this experience. "I have been with my master for more than 10 years and have experienced many experiences. This is the first time I heard my master describe a training place like this. Moreover, a training place that can be recognized by the master is absolutely extraordinary, not to mention that this training place is the palace in Wanghai Forest that they all know. The palace has existed for so many years, but no one thought that it was a space artifact, let alone that it could be his own." He admired Yan Xiangluo's courage and envied her luck. So, getting a treasure requires opportunity. If your opportunity is not placed in front of you, you can't take it away. The two continued their research after dinner, and finally discovered how to input the power of soul control. Before, they had been thinking about how to input the power of soul control into the engraved memory-killing profound pattern. Yan Xiangluo looked at Zhizhong's engraved fingers and thought that since they couldn't directly input it, then when Zhizhong was engraved with the pattern, she thought, input the power of soul control directly into his Wenkai power, so that he Wenkai may be able to directly bring in the soul control power. After thinking about it, she immediately told Zhizhong. Zhizhong thought about it and felt that it was really possible to succeed. The two of them tried it. At first, they couldn't reach a tacit understanding of how to input power at the same time. Either his tattoos were interrupted or his soul-controlling power disappeared. After several times, the two of them found a pattern. As soon as Yan Xiangluo's Zhizhong's tattoo power appears, he immediately inputs a trace of soul control power. He must not input more. Even a little bit more will dissipate Zhizhong's tattoo power. The fragrance falls ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 452. The mysterious pattern of patterning cannot stop at all from the beginning to the end. Therefore, Yan Xiangluo looks for the right opportunity to input the power of soul control into Zhizhong's patterning power. Zhizhong just needs to use the normal carving speed to engrave, and doesn't care when or how much Yan Xiangluo inputs the soul controlling power. In this way, Yan Xiangluo could control the input of a trace of soul controlling power, and it was naturally carved into Zhizhong's pattern. Then she looked for another opportunity to input the soul controlling power bit by bit, and sure enough, the soul controlling power penetrated the entire profound pattern of the memory destroying pattern engraved by Zhizhong. The carved memory destroying mysterious pattern is still very different from before. Although the carved mysterious pattern can sense the power of the pattern on it, the power of soul control is now added to it, and the wooden block used to carve the pattern is it's like being covered with a layer of soft light, and you can clearly feel the soft power flowing above. Yes, they used the wooden blocks that Xianxia had prepared before, just because she felt that it was too wasteful for Jizhong to experiment with jade one by one. Jizhong now listens to whatever Xianxia says, and he doesn't mind the shabbiness at all. Fiddled with the wooden block in her hand, Xianxia couldn't wait to try it. Jizhong saw her intention and glanced at the sky outside. It's still early, let's carve a few more tattoos and use the best one to make sure everything is perfect. Xianxia nodded. This time, with experience, the two of them cooperated very well and carved out a lot of memory-destroying mysterious patterns. Xianxia looked at the pile of memory-destroying profound patterns on the table and said, "There are too many." Jizhong said, "Save it for later." Xianxia was speechless. There were not many uses for this kind of mysterious pattern, so she thought it was too much. It's all carved out, so it can't be wasted. You can keep it. When I can carve high-level mysterious patterns, I can input the power of soul control. When she carves the tattoo by herself, it is all her own power. By inputting the power of soul control, she will have better control and the carving will be easier. Jizhong still left a few for her, take a few for convenience if you need them before they can be tattooed. Xianxia thought the same thing, put away the memory-destroying Xuanhuan and looked outside. Is it almost time? Jizhong stood up and said, "Well, we can start." Xianxia asked enthusiastically, how to get there. There were two god-level experts guarding the courtyard. This is the secret of the formation. Luoluo will understand it at a glance. Jizhong held Xianxia's hand and walked out. Xianxia was driven by curiosity and followed obediently. As Xian and Changfeng watched the two people leaving hand in hand, an idea came to their minds. In the past, when their master did bad things alone, they didn't think it was a big deal. Instead, they admired Jizhong. Now that I see him leading Xianxia to do bad things, I feel like he is teaching a good girl a bad way. The two of them followed him not too far or too close behind, so as not to delay the master's business, and they could show up in time if something happened. Jizhong took Xianxia to the outside of the courtyard where he lived with Uge. He saw him gesticulating with his spiritual power on the courtyard wall, and then waited quietly outside. Xianxia wanted to ask what was going on, but was worried that she would disturb the two god-level elders inside, so she could only endure it. Using his spiritual sense to sense the changes in the formation, he immediately understood. It turned out that Jizhong secretly joined the enchantment formation in the soul-nurturing formation. People who are not very proficient in formations really can't notice it. Within a moment, she saw Uge crawling out from the wall. He really crawled out, using both hands and feet. It was quite a strenuous climb. Xianxia asked in confusion, doesn't he have any cultivation at all? During the day, she could see that Wei Changjia's own cultivation level was quite high. She did not see the specific cultivation level, which was above the clan level. Even if Uge's soul body was not completely integrated with the body, it would not be I can't control it with any strength. Luoluo should have seen it. When I set up the soul-raising array, I set up a fascination array. The main array was outside the back window of the room where Uge lived. He should be raising his soul at this time. As long as I activate the array, Uge's soul will be there. Unstable, he is easily fascinated, and then listens to my orders. He has no consciousness. He only knows how to do what I order him to do. In this way, he cannot use spiritual power and can only use his own strength. Come out, Jizhong explained to her. It's clear that the fragrance has fallen, so that's it? Their location happened to be on the side of Uge's room. The distance was the shortest and it was not easy to disturb the two elders of King Glun Mountain. While the two were talking, Uge had already come down from the wall and stood in front of Jizhou Hong like a soulless puppet. Yan Xiangluo looked at the courtyard wall. Fortunately, it was the courtyard wall in the mansion and was not very high. Although Uge had a hard time climbing, he was able to get out. Jizhou Hong took out the memory-destroying pattern and input spiritual power. The block of wood shattered into powder, and the memory-destroying pattern fell on Uge and disappeared. Jizhou Hong controlled the power of the memory-destroying Xuanhuan and added the power of his mind to search for the memory of Jiyan in Uge's sea of consciousness. With the blessing of the power of soul control, he could better control Uge's soul body and search for memories easier. Jizhou Hong then discovered that Uge's memory actually contained a lot of secret information about him. After reading the memories of him and the elders of the Chen family, he realized that Uge had never been loyal to him from the beginning to the end. Fortunately, he is very vigilant. He is not used to telling anyone about some secret things. Otherwise, with such a traitor by his side, it would be really difficult to escape the control of the Chen family. He had to read it again anyway, so Jizhou Hong simply sifted through all the memories about him and destroyed all the memories that he thought were hidden dangers. It wasn't until he found the memories about Jiyan that he realized that he was doing the right thing. Well, Uge actually planned to let the news out after Luoluo healed him. Luckily he took action early, otherwise it would have caused him a lot of trouble. After wiping out all the memories about Jiyan, the sinister Jizhou Hong added some memories to Uge's sea of consciousness, about the news that Xianxia came to the higher continent and was in the hands of Lu Yu. Given Uge's thoughts about Xianxia, now that their identities have been reversed, he will definitely try his best to get Xianxia in order to satisfy his selfish desires that he once dared not think of. Lu Yu is not someone to be trifled with. Now Xianxia will not refuse any man. I hope Uge will not be stupid enough to implicate the entire King Glun Mountain. Jizhou Hong's original intention was not to do anything to King Glun Mountain. After all, King Glun Mountain was a breath of fresh air among the sects in the higher continent. The sex style was the best. He didn't want to ruin the entire King Glun Mountain because of Uge. This depends on the fate of King Glun Mountain. At present, he does not have the strength to cover the sky with one hand, so he can only protect themselves. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 453. Chapter 453. She feels sorry for him. Searching for one's consciousness consumes a lot of mental power. Even though Jizhou Hong's mental power is very strong, searching all of Uge's memories consumes a lot of mental power, which makes him feel a little tired. This is also the reason why no one is willing to search people's sea of consciousness unless they are forced to do so, even those who are powerful above the level. Jizhou Hong cleaned up the dirt on Uge's body from climbing on the wall, and then gave the order to Uge, go back. Soon, he didn't let Uge climb the wall clumsily and go back, but used his spiritual power to send him in. In this way, Uge only needs to climb back through the window, and his clothes will not be stained with dirt, which will arouse his suspicion. Jizhou Hong stood still and did not move. Yan Xiangluo knew that he was going back to the room. Although there is a formation to protect him, with two god-level experts present, no matter how indulging in nourishing his soul, he will still pay attention to Uge. Xian and Chang Feng, who were not far away, were stunned when they heard Jizhou Hong's words. Xian said to Chang Feng, "Is there something wrong with my ears? Why did I hear the master call the guard chief Yuge? I heard it too." Chang Feng was also confused. It can't be such a coincidence. Is it possible that the nickname of chief of guard Yu is brother Yu? Xian asked, looking for an excuse. Chang Feng glanced at him. Do you think the master would call people by their nicknames? Besides, when a boy was young, his family was willing to call him by his last word plus brother, but Wei Changjiao is such an old man, in his 20s, is it appropriate to call him brother Yu? If not, is he willing? What's going on? Xian's head was filled with questions. Even though he was smart, he felt that his brain was not enough. Chang Feng didn't know either. Let's talk to the master later to clarify my doubts. Sensing that Yu Ji had returned to the room to continue practicing, Ji Zhong raised his hand and landed his spiritual power on the wall, and he broke the enchantment array. Even if the two elders find something now, they can't find anything. He and Yan Xiangluo held hands and walked back. They saw Chang Feng and Xian looking at him with expressions eager to answer their questions, and gave them the answer they wanted. Yu Ji's soul is in Wei Changjiao's body. Huh, Xian and Chang Feng groaned at the same time. This kind of emotion is normal for Xian. Even Chang Feng, who manages his expression very well, feels this way. This shows how unexpected he is. The two of them never doubted Ji Zhong's words. When they looked at each other, they both saw incredible things in each other's eyes. How long has it been since Yu Ji died? Shouldn't he have been reincarnated long ago? Why did the soul appear in the body of the son of the head of King Glun Mountain in the higher continent? How did he come here? This is because of the rules of heaven. Could it be that the rules of heaven are only good for people and have no effect on the soul? Xian admired himself a little at this time. There were so many people who came to seek medical treatment, but he only chose two, and one of them was Yu Ji. This really demonstrated what it means to not get together if you are not enemies. Yu Ji, should I say his luck is good or bad? It is said that he is lucky, but his existence is known to his master, and it is said that he is unlucky. After death, he can still come to the higher continent with his soul. Obviously, his body status is not low, and it is true that not everyone can have this kind of luck. The two of them walked back silently after Ji Zhong and Yang Xiang fell behind. They actually have quite complicated feelings about the song. After all, they have trained and grown up together since childhood, and have been with Ji Zhong together, so they must have feelings for each other. They never thought that Tai Ji had never regarded Ji Zhong as his master, but as someone who obeyed the elders of the clan, and they never thought that he would betray Ji Zhong because of Qin Suiwu. After Yu Ji died, they thought that the matter was over, but they did not expect that his soul would actually come to the higher continent and meet them in this way. Xian finally understood why Wei Changjiao looked at him so strangely during the day. It turned out that Yu Ji's soul lived in his body. In other words, the current Wei Changjiao is Yu Ji. They don't know what the master did to Ji, but it must be that Yu Ji had some plan against the master, and the master would take action. Both of them knew in their hearts that Yan Xiangluo should have been able to tell that the master knew that Yu Ji's soul was in Wei Changjiao's body. She has the bloodline of the Long family, and has received the inheritance of the soul-controlling power of the Long family. She can see that the soul in the human body is not something that ordinary soul-controlling powers can do, but they are not surprised. After all, it would be unfair for her to describe her talent as a monster. Luckily there is a girl, otherwise they would not know that there is such an enemy hiding in the dark, and they would suffer a big loss. They are very aware of how petty Yu Ji is and how insidious his actions are. In the past, they didn't think anything of it when used against the enemy. Now if these methods are used on them, they still feel very bad. Back in Yan Xiangluo's yard, Yan Xiangluo said distressedly, "You have exhausted too much mental energy. Go in and practice again after you recover." Ji Zhong shook his head, "I just want to try to see if experience has any effect on mental strength. This is just the right time. Don't worry, I will pay attention. If it is too dangerous, I will come out immediately." Although Yan Xiangluo was still very worried, he knew that Ji Zhong knew what he was doing and said to him, You tell me how to combine the formation with the mysterious patterns. I will do it. She was not willing to let him waste any more of his mental energy. Xuanhuan did not argue with her this time, and took out a mysterious pattern to her. This is the mysterious pattern of profound knot. It is much more powerful than the mysterious pattern of isolating. Even the gods can't detect any breath in it. Luoluo said before I just activate the defensive formation and place the mysterious Jixian pattern on it. After hearing this, Yanxiangluo nodded and said to Xian and Chang Feng, you two call all the people who want to go in for training. Tell Chen Moran that we are starting to retreat. Before we come out, the house will everything here was left to him. When the Lord of the Southern Continent sent him the reward, he accepted it. The head of King Glun Mountain sent the medicinal materials and arranged for him to stay and wait. After saying that, he took out another jade pendant and said, also, give this jade pendant to Chen Moran and tell him that if people named Yunfuxian, Long Yimen and Deng Changs come to see me, let them stay here until I come out Guan. If they don't stay, show them this jade pendant and they will stay. This jade pendant was left to her by her parents. Master saw her wearing it. Therefore, when the three of them saw the jade pendant, they knew it was indeed her. Xian knew that Deng Changs was Xiangluo's master, but who were Yunfuxian and Long Yimen? Xian didn't ask any more questions. Xiangluo told him to just get things done. Didn't he look at his master's expression as if Xiangluo was talking about it? Xian took the jade pendant and went out with Chang Feng. End of this chapter. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 454. The two men divided their forces into two groups, one went to call for help, and the other went to explain the matter to Chen Moran. Soon the two came back with the people. Yanxiangluo looked at the dark crowd of people standing in the yard and twitched her lips. Jin Yutang had already led so many people in, so why were there so many people there? These people were usually hiding somewhere. She didn't realize that there were so many people in the mansion. Even if they were standing next to each other, they still took up a lot of space. They were definitely not in the mansion. Everyone is here, Yanxiangluo asked. Xian said, it's all ready. Hearing this, Yanxiangluo activated the defensive formation in the yard, and then put the spiritual power of the Xuanhuan given to her by Xuanhuan into the formation. Suddenly, the whole yard became extremely quiet. Only then did she know that not only was the isolation no sound can be heard from the outside or inside. As long as they don't disarm the formation, people inside can't get out and people outside can't get in. She knew very well how strong the defensive formation Xuanhuan had deployed was, and it could resist the attacks of the lower gods. However, with the addition of the Xuanhuan, it was more than enough to resist the attacks of the upper gods. This should be what Xuanhuan could arrange at the moment. The strongest isolation effect. With their current opponent's cultivation level, it is enough. After everything was arranged, Yanxiangluo said to Chang Feng, Xian and all the secret guards, don't resist, I will send you in. Everyone relaxed their consciousness, and as soon as the thought of Xianxiang fell, everyone disappeared. There must be movement among so many people. The two elders of King Glun Mountain noticed the movement and mobilized their spiritual consciousness to investigate. They found that there was a strong isolation formation outside a courtyard. Even their god-level spiritual consciousness could not detect it. Go in. Thinking of the two people saying they were going to retreat tonight, knowing that this was the main courtyard, they should have activated the defensive formation. There were so many spiritual energy fluctuations just now, and their people should have gone in to protect the law. The two of them were shocked. How many trump cards did they have? This defensive formation could actually resist the spiritual detection of people with god-level cultivation. How could it be more and more scary the more they thought about it? Immediately they went to check on Wei Changjiao and saw that he was still practicing cross-legged cultivation to nourish his soul, So they consciously withdrew their consciousness and stopped paying attention to what was going on in his mansion. As long as Wei Changjiao is fine, it will be fine. They have all lived a long time. They know that curiosity can kill people, and they should not meddle easily. It is easy to lose their lives. If they want to live longer, sometimes they have to pretend to be deaf and blind. Only Yan Xiangluo and Ji Zhozhong were left in the yard. Yan Xiangluo looked at him and asked, "Go in now." Ji Zhidian nodded and said, "Go in, Luoluo Angzan is practicing, don't pay attention to them, they can leave the small courtyard after they come out, and then guard the safety of the mansion in the dark." Ji Zhokong is worried that Yan Xiangluo will use it too much and the training effect will not be good. His people are all entering for the first time. Even if they have extraordinary perseverance, the training time will not be longer than the time they go in for the second or third time, and they will definitely come out before them. This is why he arranged for Jin Yutang to go in first. He is the leader of the hidden guards and works calmly. When they are away, Jin Yutang does not have to worry about the safety of the mansion. Yan Xiangluo nodded after hearing this. This was her most formal experience in the higher continent. She had to break through her limits and unleash infinite possibilities in order to gain the strongest experience. Taking a deep breath, he led Ji Zhozhong into the palace. Although the two of them came in together and through the same door, they couldn't see each other after entering. The experience here is for individuals, so no matter how many people come in, they cannot see each other. Yan Xiangluo was not in a hurry to practice it. After all, it was a space magic weapon that she had contracted with herself. Unlike others, she could control when the training started. Others are different. They start practicing as soon as they enter, and they won't even give you a moment to breathe. Yan Xiangluo first checked the hidden guards of Ji Zhozhong who were practicing in the palace. She didn't need to look at those who had just come in. She mainly looked at those who came in 2 days in advance. She was surprised to find that a large number of those people were practicing on the second floor of the palace. It turns out that palace experience is not only limited to the first floor, but can also enter other floors. Some conditions must have been touched. She knew the structure of the palace very well, but it was different when she came in to experience it than when she came in without any experience before. She knew this. The first floor of the palace is a library. The reason why it is called a library is that she has never seen such a large place to store books. It can only be described as a library. There are books of all types, including various types of cultivation methods, as well as books on alchemy, weapon refining, mysterious patterns, formations, animal training, etc. Judging from the texture and color of the books, those books are all old. They should all be ancient books, and each one is a rare treasure. The second floor was the weapons warehouse. Various weapons that she had never seen before were suspended in it. She couldn't even count how many there were. She had a long caltrop spear, a gentleman's sword, and a flying lotus. She didn't want to ask for any other weapons, and she didn't even look at them at that time. The third level is even more powerful. There is a training place set up inside, but it is only suitable for people with sect-level cultivation. At that time, she sensed that there were 6 more floors in the palace, but she could not find out what was in the other 6 floors. Now she thought it was a place for higher-level training. When she came in for the first time, it was the training ground starting from the 3rd floor, but now they start the training directly from the 1st floor. In other words, the layout of palace magic weapons can be changed because of their different uses. If you come in for training, the library and weapons depot of the palace will be hidden, and the entire 9th floor is a place for training. If you want to find a book, you will directly appear in the library. The display is also on the 1st level. The display for finding weapons is on the 2nd level. The senior brother has refined such a powerful space weapon, but I still looked down on it back then? Did your eyes grow on the top of your head at that time? It was at this time that Yan Xianglou had the urgent desire to restore her past life memories. There were too many doubts in her heart, and they were getting more and more. If they were not solved, they would hinder her practice. With an idea, she went to the library. Sure enough, it was now shown that she was on the first floor of the palace. She walked to the second floor, which was also the weapons warehouse. Going to the third floor again, sure enough, the place where she came in just now to practice was also displayed on the first floor. Only she, the owner of the palace, can travel to various places as she pleases. Others can only let her stay where they are. Just like now, they can only use the experience function of the palace and cannot go to the library and weapons depot. Thinking of the weapons in the arsenal, Yan Xianglou thought that after Zhizhong's people had finished practicing, she would give them a chance to go in and choose a weapon they wanted. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 455. Not everyone has the opportunity to own a weapon that suits them. You must know that if the weapon suits you, your combat effectiveness will be greatly improved. She has the weapons she likes, and the weapons in the palace arsenal are kept there. It is better to use them to improve the strength of Zhizhong's hidden guards. By the way, I don't know if Zhizhong's weapon suits his liking. I'll ask him if he needs it when the time comes. Yan Xianglou eliminated all distracting thoughts and began to practice. As soon as the thought came to her mind, the atmosphere around her suddenly changed. A cold light flashed across her apricot eyes, and with the thought, the Junzi sword and bamboo sword appeared in her hand and blocked her in front of her. With a clang, an attack fell on the Junzi sword and bamboo sword, making a crisp sound, but the power shocked her hands. Take 2 steps back. The next attack was stronger than the last. It was indeed different from the first time she came into practice. She was extremely excited and had not had such a strong fighting spirit for a long time. The gentleman's sword in her hand danced faster and faster, the spiritual energy injected into it became stronger and stronger, and the invisible attack power also increased as her strength increased. About an hour later, Yan Xianglou felt a little powerless. She knew that she was fighting beyond her limit. She knew very well that the training in the palace was based on the difficulty setting that was a little beyond the limit of her current strength. When you really can't bear it anymore, the experience will end, you will be given an hour's rest, and then the next round of experience will begin. This hour is the time for you to recover your spiritual and physical strength. Therefore, you don't have to worry here and can unleash your potential to get the strongest and best experience effect. This is also the surprise that Zhizhong told Changfeng and others. At least he has never found any training place to have such an effect. It doesn't want your life, but it forces you to become stronger in a short period of time. However, injuries will still occur, and the frequency is very high. Even if you are injured, do not take elixirs to heal the injuries. This is also a good opportunity to exercise your physical fitness. Yan Xianglou has never had the chance to practice Yuan Qi since she came to the higher continent. The 9 transformation true Yuan Ju is still at the level of cultivation in the Tianqian continent. It is just a good opportunity to practice together. Zhizhong has come in twice and is very familiar with the training rules. This time he came in due to a strange combination of circumstances and consumed a lot of mental power. Therefore, he wanted to see if he could practice mental power here. Hence, since he entered, he has been using his mental power to control the mysterious patterns to resist attacks. Sure enough, when his mental power exceeded the limit, his head began to hurt, and the experience was over. He immediately sat down cross-legged and began to recover his mental power. He was surprised to find that his mental power recovered quickly. Within an hour, he had fully recovered, and it was better than before. Zhizhong's eyes burst out with a light of surprise. Practice has proved that not only can you practice cultivation in this palace, but you can also practice your spiritual power. You must know that it is difficult to improve a person's spiritual power. It is almost the same as what he was born with. Mental power determines the level of your cultivation talent. Therefore, many people look for exercises to cultivate mental power, just in the hope that improving a little mental power will improve some cultivation talents. Xuanhuan sighed in his heart again. How powerful the role of Luoluo, a palace that can be experienced, is. No matter what your talent is, as long as you can reach the zone level cultivation level, you can come in and experience your spiritual power. You can improve your spiritual power and then your cultivation talent. This is not only a place of experience, but also a place of genius creation. He couldn't even imagine how much the overall talent of his hidden guards would be improved if they all practiced spiritual power. He can have a genius hidden guard. Which family or force in the entire continent can have such a powerful hidden guard? Luoluo was simply his lucky star. Not only did he save his soul and give him joy and happiness, but he was also the biggest helper on his path to becoming a strong man. At this time, he felt that no matter how nice he was to Luoluo, it was not enough to express his love and gratitude to her. At this moment, he was more determined to become the strongest person in the higher continent and have the strength to accompany her to the ninth heaven. Didn't Luoluo want to go to Zhekongtian to see the evergreen trees? He would accompany her to pursue this dream. When the time comes, they must make a promise for eternity under the evergreen tree. At this time, everyone in the palace was practicing selflessly, and in the palace of the Lord of Xiangyang City, the Lord of the Southern Continent was about to go back with Ling Er. Yesterday, he invited the head of King Glun Mountain to have a small gathering and received some news. He was extremely shocked. Yanxiangluo was actually able to refine a soul-nourishing pill, but even the god-level alchemists on the mainland couldn't guarantee that the elixir could be refined. She actually dared to say that if the refining failed, she would have to pay for a soul-nurturing pill. Obviously, she made such a promise only when she was absolutely sure that she could refine the soul-nourishing pill. Is she really only 16 years old? Once she really refines the soul-nourishing pill, if the news spreads, it will probably alarm the entire higher continent, and Yanxiangluo's life will probably not be peaceful. No matter how good your medical skills are or how strong your alchemy talent is, their current cultivation level is not enough to protect themselves. Although the 16-year-old zone-level cultivator is already a genius among geniuses, are there few geniuses who die young in the mainland? They have no family support behind them, and their own strength is not enough to protect themselves, so there are only two outcomes. One is to submit to a family or force and stay loyal to one's family or force to survive. But with their personalities, they would never take this path. The second is to resist desperately, which is ultimately a dead end. This is an outcome that the Lord of the Southern Continent does not want to see. Everyone has the desire to cherish talents, but not all people will use fair and honest means to recruit talents. In the high continent, they all like to use the most direct method to solve problems with force. For the first time, the Lord of the Southern Continent was worried and wanted to win over them, but he also knew that neither Yanxiangluo nor Xuanhuan was the kind of person who was willing to be subdued. For the first time, he was opposed to using force to solve problems. Mrs. Ling looked at the changing expressions of the Lord of the Southern Continent and knew what he was thinking. She had been around him all these years and not only figured out how to get his favor, but also understood his true temperament. This expression probably means he is hesitant about something. What's wrong? Mrs. Ling asked softly. The Lord of the Southern Continent lowered his eyes and asked Madame Ling, what do Ling Er think of me taking them back? Mrs. Ling's eyes narrowed. He was indeed thinking about this matter and said with a smile, I don't think anyone in this world can conquer them. They are people who would rather live in pieces than in ruins. After finishing his words, Mrs. Ling reminded him again, the young master Lu Yudu of the Twilight Continent has nothing to do with them who have just arrived. Their trump cards may not be what we see. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 456. Chapter 456. Try your best. The Lord of the Southern Continent sighed after hearing this. Look, Ling a woman in the house, can see this. Why do you still hesitate? Let's go home. The Lord of the Southern Continent made an instant decision. Although these two people look weak, they can't be provoked. Although he is the master of a continent, he has too many things to take care of. They have no ties when they are new and can try their best. In this case, he must use strong force. Means, the final result can only be a lose-lose situation for both sides. No matter how much he cherishes his talent, he is not willing to compromise his family's and his own future. From the moment he became the Lord of the Southern Continent, he was no longer qualified to act arbitrarily and take risks. He is the support of his family, and the family is also his support. Ms. Ling's eyes darkened when she heard him say going home. Although she had lived there for many years, it had never been her home. Go back and enjoy the last month of his pampering for you, and then you have to adapt to life without him. Although she was still very reluctant to part with her, she also knew that he would not do more for herself. Giving herself unique favor was the limit of what he could do for himself, and this was also because of his deliberate planning. This kind of love will not last forever and will be lost sooner or later. Rather than being bored and given up by him, it is better to let go first and live in his heart for the rest of his life. The Lord of Xiangyang City personally sent the Lord of the Southern Continent away from Xiangyang City and wiped the non-existent cold sweat from his forehead. He had been really on tenterhooks these past few days. Mu Xiaoyang's eyes flashed when he saw his father's exaggerated movements. Look, even as powerful as his father, there are times when he bends down. Nothing is as important as his own strength. Just like Master Yu, her cultivation level is not high enough, but she still has the ability to make others bend over. At this moment, Mu Xiaoyang seemed to understand the meaning of life. Yan Xiangluo would never have imagined that all this she planned just to get her parents to come to her would change a person's life. 7 days passed in a blink of an eye. Yan Xiangluo had been practicing on the first floor for 7 days. She had already checked it with her spiritual sense. Now she was the only one practicing on the first floor. Even Ji Zhizhong, who had consumed a lot of mental power, had gone to the second floor. Layers of experience. Even some of the hidden guards who came in first had already gone to the third floor. Jin Yutang was the first to go to the third floor. Yan Xiangluo felt a little uneasy. How did that happen? Is my cultivation talent not as good as theirs? Unlikely. Then why is it that it's been a week and I'm still practicing on the first level? I knew in my heart that there must be some opportunity that I had not grasped. Could it be that because I was the master of the palace, this opportunity was different from theirs and more difficult? With this thought, Yan Xiangluo took advantage of the rest to calm down her mind, and while recovering her spiritual power, she pondered over the process of her 7 days of training. She followed the rules of experience. She exceeded the limit, recovered her cultivation level, practiced again, exceeded the limit again, and recovered her cultivation level. This was the case for the past 7 days, all the way. She suffered countless injuries. She had even changed her clothes 3 times. Her hair was as messy as a chicken coop and she had no time to take care of it. She had not treated any major or minor injuries on her body. What was wrong with her? An hour passed quickly. When the attack came again, Yan Xiangluo's mind flashed. Maybe it was because she was too disciplined that she never got the opportunity. Thinking of this, Yan Xiangluo immediately changed her training method. Before, she followed the rules, so the training time was relatively long. The rest and recovery time was less than an hour. The rest time could not be changed. This was already recovery. Spiritual power has the shortest time, So what can be changed is the fighting time. This time Yan Xianglou did not hesitate and tried her best from the beginning without any pause. The battle that previously took 2 or 3 hours to end ended in half an hour. She was paralyzed on the ground and finally saw the stairs leading to the second floor appearing. The embarrassed Yan Xianglou smiled. Sure enough, her life was so comfortable that she forgot to work hard to get what she wanted. In the past, I had always been able to control the speed of training with ease, so naturally I was not qualified to go to the second level for training. Now that she had completed the training that should have taken 2 or 3 hours in half an hour, the palace naturally judged that her ability was no longer suitable for training on the first floor, and opened the passage to the second floor. Yan Xianglou got up from the ground. Instead of rushing to the second floor, she sat cross-legged and began to recover her spiritual power. An hour later, she got up and walked towards the stairs. As soon as she stepped onto the stairs, she knew how right she was in making the decision to restore her spiritual power first. The experience does not start when you reach the second floor. The experience has already started when you step on the first step of the stairs to the second floor. As soon as she stepped on the step, a powerful pressure surged from above. The pressure made her unable to straighten her waist, and she had to use all her strength to step up to the next step. She glanced at the steps extending upwards, and there were about 20 more around the corner. It was not easy to just walk up these steps to reach the second floor. Yan Xianglou was not discouraged and walked up slowly step by step. After walking 5 or 6 steps, she would stop to rest for a while to recover her spiritual power. It was amazing. As soon as she sat down, the coercion disappeared, and as soon as she stood up, the coercion came back automatically. Just like that, there were more than 20 steps in total, and it took her an hour to walk up. The pressure disappeared instantly when she stepped onto the last step, and she was not given any time to pause. The attack was already coming. Yan Xianglou threw herself into the battle with full fighting spirit. Half a month later, some of the hidden guards who went in first had already come out, and they were about to advance as soon as they came out. Fortunately, with Jiju's formation, no one outside could notice it. The hidden guards who had been promoted skillfully walked into the rockery in the courtyard, and then left the mansion through a secret passage. The other exit was in a mansion 1 street behind their mansion. This is where the hermit guards live, and it is also the passage for them to enter and exit. Not all the hidden guards live here. They usually have their own things to do. Only some of them live here. Jiju Kong is also very courageous. If this secret passage is known to others, the formation he has set up will have no meaning at all. In fact, this was not the case. When he set up the formation, he had tampered with this passage, making it only possible to exit but not enter. Even if someone discovers it, there is no way to enter Yan Xianglou's yard through this passage. The reason why he didn't tell Yan Xianglou was because he was worried that she would be unable to bear it if she came out early. If she went out through a secret passage, her safety would not be guaranteed, and he would not be able to practice with peace of mind. End of this chapter. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 457. As time went by, more than 20 days passed, and all the hidden guards except Jiju's Hong and Yuan Xianglou came out. Jin Yutang, Xian, and Chang Feng were the last to come out. When they came out, they saw that Jiju's Hong and Yan Xianglou were not in the yard. They knew they hadn't come out yet. Needless to say, they left the yard and got busy performing their duties. Xian was the last one to come out, and he was the only one who returned to the house after coming out. Chen Moran was shocked how his cultivation level could advance so quickly after not seeing him for more than 20 days. He came in through the gate of the mansion, so Chen Moran and the others had no idea where Xian went to practice, or even when he left. After all, Chen Moran was once the grandson of the Lord of the Continent, and he still had a wide range of knowledge, but even so, there was no training place or secret realm in his memory that had such a powerful training effect. He wanted to ask, but he swallowed the words as they reached his lips. He always kept in mind his identity. He was just a slave now. Xian and Changfeng naturally saw what he meant, but the palace experience weapon belonged to Yu Xiangluo, so they couldn't make the decision, and they didn't even dare to leak the information. Hence, both of them pretended not to see what he meant. Chen Moran reported, "Mr. Mu, a man named Deng Changs came to see Master Yu 3 days ago. We told him that Master Yu was in retreat and asked him to stay and wait. He left a letter to Master Yu and left. My master will know after reading the letter." In order to distinguish the two masters, they called Yu Xiangluo the master and Ji Zhikong the master Zhikong. This was what Ji Zhihong requested, and it also wanted them to know that in his heart, Yu Xiangluo was the most important. Xian knew that Deng Changs was Yu Xiangluo's master, so he took the letter and said, "Give the letter to me and I will give it to Miss Yu when she comes out of confinement." Chen Moran nodded and said, "The great elder next to young Master Wei of King Glun Mountain came here this morning to inform them that the medicinal materials have been prepared. When Master Yu comes out of seclusion and informs them, the medicinal materials will be delivered." "Yeah, I understand." Xian didn't know when Yan Xiangluo would come out. Thinking of Yu Ji, he and Changfeng looked at each other. They both saw what the other meant in each other's eyes and ignored it. Xian sighed, Yu Ji obviously looked very smart, why did he always do stupid things? None of them could not see that there was a better way to follow Ji Zhihong, and none of the old guys from the Chen family really wanted to do this. For their sake. Although there are a lot of things to do with Ji Zhihong, they have also been trained from it, and now they can all stand alone. And Ji Zhihong is really good to them. Whether it is cultivation resources or daily life, they live better than some young masters from big families. Without following Ji Zhihong, would they have the capital to come to the higher continent at a young age? Without Ji Zhihong's advice and guidance, how could they have settled down so quickly and smoothly in the higher continent? Although they are all subordinates, are there any subordinates who are treated as highly as they are? If they chose to betray Ji Zhihong like Yu Ji, how could they have caught Yan Xiangluo's eyes, and would they have had the opportunity to enter the palace to experience the magic weapon now? In more than 20 days, they completed their training goals that others might not be able to complete in 20 years. Their master Ji Zhihong gave them such an opportunity without hesitation. Where can they find such a good master? Sooner or later, Yu Ji will understand what he betrayed and what he lost. Xian took care of the affairs of the house quietly, while Changfeng and Jin Yutang did their things according to Ji Zhihong's previous arrangements. There just happen to be too many people who have advanced in cultivation, and they all need a chance to consolidate. Especially Jin Yutang, the hidden guard leader, and Changfeng, the bodyguard. Xian mainly focuses on refining alchemy and taking care of trivial matters. He is better at these things. Even if he is not good at cultivation, it will not affect anything. But Xian works very hard. Although he has the lowest cultivation level among the three, he is only comparing with them. Compared with others, his talent and cultivation level can still make him a genius. A month has passed, and Yan Xiangluo and Ji Zhihong still haven't come out. At this time, both of them have reached the 4th floor. However, Yan Xiangluo has just arrived on the 4th floor, and Ji Zhihong has been practicing there for several days. Jin Yutang has the highest cultivation talent among the hidden guards. Even Xian and Changfeng are not as talented as him, and he is still at the 3rd level. But this is his first time coming in, so his achievement is already quite high. Comparing it like this, you will know how difficult it is to enter the 4th floor. When 1 month came, the Lord of the Southern Continent fulfilled his promise and personally brought Mrs. Ling to deliver the reward. It's a pity that I didn't see Yu Xiangluo, Chen Moran, and Xian receiving her. The Lord of the Southern Continent was not annoyed by this, because Yan Xianglou had explained before that she was going to retreat, and the reward did not have to be delivered by herself. She could just send someone to deliver it. If she did not leave the retreat, the reward would be given to the housekeeper. But he was also shocked when he saw Xianxia's cultivation level. It was only a month. Did he hide his cultivation level last time? The Lord of the Southern Continent never thought that Xian could reach such a level within 20 days, not even a month. Mrs. Ling is still wearing a white dress and a white hat. No one has seen her true appearance since the last time she came for treatment until this time when she came to deliver the reward. Mrs. Ling is very clear about her body and admires Yan Xiangluo's medical skills. She really healed her body to the state before she was free of illness. I am truly grateful to Yan Xiangluo in my heart. If it weren't for her words, I wouldn't have thought about it. Maybe the person would have disappeared by now. It was still a pity that she didn't see Yan Xiangluo. She also wanted to thank Yan Xiangluo in person before leaving. The Lord of the Southern Continent took out a gift ring and handed it to Chen Moran. The rewards are all in it. You give it to Master Yu, and then send a message to me. Master Yu and young Master Zhekong can go to my mansion when they have time. When you are a guest, you must be treated as a distinguished guest. Chen Moran has become accustomed to the ability of his two masters to convince powerful people anytime and anywhere, so he said politely, I will definitely bring the words of the Master of the Southern Continent. After seeing off the Lord of the Southern Continent and Mrs. Ling, Chen Moran handed the gift ring to Xian. The main reason is that there are too many, too good, and too precious things inside. Even his grandson, who was once the Lord of the Continent, has never seen so many good things, and he is a little afraid to save them. Xian looked at the contents of the ring, and then gave the ring to Chen Moran. Miss Yu asked you to keep it, so just keep it. This little thing is nothing, there will be more and better ones in the future. Even though they used to live in a lower-class continent, they did not lack good things. They had seen countless good things from Zhezhong, so they did not feel at all how precious the rewards given by the Lord of the Continent were. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 458. Chapter 458 Experience Effect. Chen Moran was once again shocked by their wealth. Are they really from a lower continent? Are the lower continents so rich? Thinking about the number of people who came, Chen Moran felt that his idea was probably true. Not only do I feel that it's ridiculous for those in the higher mainland to look down on the people from the lower mainland, but they are not as miserable as you think. In fact, their lives are better than those of us who were born and raised in the higher mainland. 10 days have passed and Yan Xiangluo came out of the place of experience. She went directly to the space. She had a feeling that this breakthrough might not be easy. Sure enough, her breakthrough from the 4th level of the zone level to the peak of the 9th level has not stopped yet. It just took a little longer to break through to the Emperor level. She has not the slightest regard for the hurdles that others need to prepare for a long time and look for opportunities to overcome. There were no obstacles and I just broke through. Not only that, the promotion did not stop until he reached the 4th level of the Emperor level. This time she practiced for a month and 10 days, which was much longer than the second time Zhezhong went into practice. Just because of Zhezhong's previous experience, the effect of her second experience is better than that of Zhezhong's second experience. She glanced at Zhezhong, who was still training in the palace. He was on the stairs leading from the 4th floor to the 5th floor. It seems that he won't come out in a short time. Yan Xiangluo is somewhat looking forward to what level Zhezhong will advance to when he comes out this time. Yang Xiang landed in the space and advanced, alarming a group of little guys who were practicing on the space stone milk. After all, she advanced too frequently, and it was a big level. However, the little ones all despise Yan Xiangluo, who is now like a little beggar, and no one can come over to her no matter how happy she is. Yan Xiangluo looked at the red dress she was wearing and the color was almost gone. Her hair was dirty and tangled. She was even more embarrassed than a beggar. She had never been so embarrassed, not even that time when she had her menstruation washed. So miserable. She quickly went to shower and change clothes. After washing herself, she changed into a clean dress, and her whole body felt refreshed. After packing everything up, she walked out of the house. Although Ji Jikong had not finished her training, she had to go out. It had been a month and 10 days. The lord of the southern continent should have given her reward. The head of King Glun Mountain had medicinal materials. She should be ready. The most important thing is that she wants to know if there is any news about her parents and master. As soon as the formation was broken, Xian and Chen Moran knew it immediately, and they both rushed over and went to the main hall in the front yard with Yu Xiangluo. The two reported the matter in detail. Chen Moran gave her the gift ring and the jade pendant she left as a keepsake before retreating. Xian gave her the letter left by Deng Chang's. Although Yan Xiangluo was disappointed that there was no news about her parents, it was also a happy thing to have news about her master. Let Chen Moran go and inform the two elders of King Glun Mountain that she is out of seclusion and can have medicinal materials delivered. Then she opened the letter left by Deng Chang's and read it. The letter was written very concisely, in the style of her master. He briefly talked about his experience in coming to the higher continent and the reasons why he could not stay and wait for her to come out. Let her see that Xian has time to find him. Yan Xiangluo looked at the address left by her master, Xianyuan section. There was actually a Xianyuan sect here, but it was just a small sect that could not be smaller, the kind that was not worthy of appearing in mainland historical records. That's why she didn't know there was an immortal cloud sect in the higher continent. Could it be created by the ancestor of Xianyuan sect who refined the Changling spear? Thousands of years have passed, why hasn't Xianyuan sect developed yet? The master did not introduce much in the letter, nor did he say what he was busy with. Yan Xiangluo thought that she should really find time to go to Xianyuan section no matter what, she had to go to where the master was. Trip. Master is not a casual initiate. If this Xianyuan sect was really created by that ancestor, she would take care of it for the sake of Changling spear. If that ancestor was still alive, she had always wanted to meet him. As for whether to join the sect or not, her goal is to go to the 9 heavens, and the higher continent cannot keep her. When Chi Hao heard that his master had come out of seclusion, he ran over in a hurry. Before anyone came in, he shouted, "Master, you have come out of seclusion, and my disciple has been promoted." Hearing the clear and joyful voice of her disciple, Yan Xiangluo suddenly felt like she had a breath of life. Looking towards the door, he saw a small figure rushing in like a cannonball. The sparkling eyes, the bright smile on the face, and every expression on his face show that "Master, please praise me, I have advanced again." Yan Xiangluo glanced at Chi Hao's cultivation level and said, "It's level 4 at the UN level, not bad." Chi Hao had reached the 8th level of the sergeant level when he awakened his spiritual roots. When we met later, he had already broken through the UN level. When he came to Xiangyang City, he was already the 3rd level of the UN level. It had only been more than a month since he had advanced to the 1st level. Hao's cultivation talent is really not low. "Master, what level are you at now?" Chi Hao felt that the master's aura seemed to be more restrained, which also showed that the master's cultivation level was stronger. Emperor level 4. Yan Xiangluo didn't hide anything from him either. Xian on the side twitched the corner of his mouth. He hadn't figured out what level of cultivation Yan Xiangluo was since she came out. He had always wanted to ask, but couldn't find the time. Now that he knew it, the joy of his promotion was gone. Originally, he thought that he was already very powerful if he could break through to the emperor level in one go, but he recognized that he could not compare with Jin Yutang. Since he was young, that guy had always been able to beat him occasionally, but he could not compare with him. But why can't he even compare to a girl now? What kind of monster is she? She doesn't want to let them live. Is this just to attack them? Chi Hao was also stunned. Why did his master advance so much all of a sudden? Didn't Grandpa say that his master was at the 4th level of the zone level? How could he be promoted to the 4th level of the imperial level all of a sudden? I can't find anyone who has advanced to the 1st level of Dole. His master has been so calm even when he has advanced to a higher level. It seems that I haven't worked hard enough. If it doesn't work, I have to practice. Master, I'm resigning. After Chi Hao finished speaking, he ran away like a gust of wind. Before Yan Xianglou could retract her outstretched hand, and before she could even speak her words, the boy disappeared, which showed how eager he was to go back to practice. At this time, Yan Xianglou had already had a premonition that she had unintentionally cultivated a crazy disciple. Oh, this kid seemed quite stable before, why is he so impatient? Xian frowned. He is still a child. How stable can a person you have hit be? The more you hit, the more stable you will be, just like him. Xian, how is the news going outside? Yan Xianglou asked. End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 459. Chapter 459. Going to see the master. Xian knew that she was asking questions about her medical skills. You look so miraculous in what you wear. It's almost said that Miss Yu is a descending to the earth. They say that you can bring the dead back to life and so on. Especially after the Lord of the Southern Continent personally brought Mrs. Ling to deliver the reward, they said that you are a miracle doctor and came to seek medical treatment. There was an endless stream of people, but Chen Moran rejected them all because they were in retreat. Xian said. Just now, he heard that Chen Moran refused a person who came to seek medical treatment and didn't even let him in. Although the news of Yan Xiangluo's superb medical skills has indeed spread, it will cause a lot of trouble in the future. He heard Ji Zhozhong say that the purpose of doing this was to let her parents know the news about her and come to her, but except that her master came to find her, there was no news about her parents at all. Yan Xiangluo waved her hands and said, I just said that I have just come out of seclusion. After refining the soul-nourishing pill for Mr. Wei, I will go out to practice. I will not see any more doctors for the time being. Originally, she didn't want to practice medicine, just to give information to her parents. Since she didn't let her parents come to her, it means that they must have encountered some trouble, or the place where they lived was too closed and they didn't get the news, or else. I didn't want to implicate myself, so I didn't come to find myself. She was worried no matter which one it was. Since she can't wait for her parents to come at home, she should go out for a walk. Whether she is looking for her parents or looking for opportunities left to her by other senior brothers, she needs to go out. Since you have decided to leave, let's go see Master first. As for the opportunities left to her by the other senior brothers, she didn't know where they were, so she could only rely on luck. Where will this year's continental competition be held? Yan Xiangluo asked. Although she will not participate in the continental competition, it is still okay if she has time to learn more about it. After all, the continental competition has gathered the strongest and talented young people from the entire continent. Xian's eyes flashed, and his master and them all signed up, but his master refused to let them know that their cultivation level was very low when they signed up. Although they were qualified to sign up, they couldn't get any good results at all. The master was worried that the girl was worried about him, so he said he would not tell her yet and would tell her after the experience came out. But now that the master hasn't come out yet, he doesn't dare to make the decision privately and tell her. Held in Yaoguang City on the northern continent. After Xian gained experience, he checked out all the news about the continental competition. Yan Xiangluo took out the map and saw that it was a coincidence. The location of Xuanhuan sect mentioned by the master was also in the northern continent, not far from Yaoguang city. Then go see master first, and then go to Yaoguang city to watch the continental competition. After making the decision, Yan Xiangluo was about to prepare to leave. Ji Zhong didn't know when he would come out, so she left first. Anyway, he would come out wherever she went. She knew his state well. She had already sent the palace into the space, and he would appear in the space when he came out. Even if it is inconvenient outside, it will not delay his promotion. After thinking about what to do next, Yan Xiangluo felt less heavy. Although he is worried about his parents, with his father's intelligence, even if he encounters difficulties, he will still be able to overcome them. Yan Xiangluo took a deep breath and said to Xian, "After I refine the soul-nourishing pill for Mr. Wei, I will leave for the northern continent. First, I will see my master, and then I will watch the continental competition." "What are your plans?" Jin Yutang's one thing is that the dragon sees the beginning but not the end. Chang Feng didn't see it when she came out, so she must have gone to do some things. Ji Zhong always thinks very far ahead and starts preparing for many things in advance. Therefore, she will not interfere with what they want to do. After hearing this, Xian immediately said, "I'm going with Miss Yu. Even if Chang Feng can't go together, he will catch up with us after finishing the work. The master is not here, and they can't let Miss Yu leave alone. If something happens, it's okay, the master must be crazy." Yan Xiangluo went to Qi Hao's yard and asked him about the effect of reading his essays for more than a month. Qi Hao worked hard and did not fall behind in his practice, nor did he fall behind in studying medicine and alchemy. "Master is going to the northern continent to see your master. Will you stay at home or go out with the master?" Yan Xiangluo asked. "I don't know how long it will take for her to come back after she leaves. Qi Hao is still too young, and Qi Chang he will be worried if she takes her out. During this time, he can only study her essays by himself and practice at home, which will somewhat delay things." Qi Hao's eyes lit up and he immediately looked at his grandfather. Qi Chang he smiled and said, "Just do what you want. Grandpa will stay at the house and won't go anywhere. He can think openly now. Revenge is not as important as the growth of his grandson. In the past few years, he has not planned to do anything. He has also calmed down to practice. He can improve his cultivation as much as he can. Every additional level will give him more confidence." Hearing this, Qi Hao immediately said, "Master and I are going to see the master." Yan Xiangluo nodded, "Then be prepared, we will set off at any time in the next 2 days." Qi Hao was very happy and nodded excitedly. He could see his master. This was also a sign that his master recognized him. Yan Xiangluo told Qi Chang he her plan. She just said that she would go to see her master, and then drop by to watch the continental competition. She would come back later, and the time might not be short. Qi Chang he also explained that he would not go anywhere, but would practice in his mansion and wait for their return. Yu Xiangluo also promised to bring Qi Hao back safely. After all, Qi Hao is the only root of the Qi family. Needless to say, she also knows how important Qi Chang he is. After finishing all her work, Yan Xiangluo went directly back to her yard. As for the song, she didn't want to look at it at all. A soul-nourishing pill could solve the problem, so she didn't need to worry about it anymore. And with the soul-nourishing array, Uge's soul should be much better than before. Uge felt very uncomfortable at this time. After Ji Zhong had wiped out some of his memories, he felt something was wrong the next morning, but he couldn't remember it. As for the news about Xianxia that was in his mind, Ji Zhong had thoughtfully designed a way for him to find out. He heard about it on the way to Xiangyang city. Since it was his own memory, Uge didn't doubt anything, but he was a little absent-minded from that day on. In the past, his status was low and he was not worthy of Xianxia, but now it is different. Their status has changed, and now Xianxia is not worthy of him. However, his desire to get Xianxia did not diminish, but became stronger. He couldn't wait to integrate his soul with his body. But after finally waiting for the news that the medicinal materials had been collected, Ruan Xianluo actually refused to come out of seclusion. It took a lot of effort to survive until today, and finally heard that Ruan Xianluo had come out of seclusion. He was very excited. The medicinal materials would be delivered tomorrow, and he would be able to take the soul-nourishing pill tomorrow night at the latest. After his body and soul were completely integrated, he told his father that he wanted to travel and went to find Xianxia. End of this chapter. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 460. Uge knew that the father of the original owner loved his little son very much and would not trust him to go out alone. He would definitely send someone to protect him. He was very satisfied with this kind of life. As long as the soul and body are completely integrated, Wei Qiangjia will be him, and he will no longer be the inferior Uge. Uge was in a very good mood and wanted to go out and fly around immediately. The two elders knew that he had always been emotionally unstable, and today he suddenly became so excited. They thought he knew that Yan Xianluo had come out of seclusion and was going to refine a soul-nourishing pill for him, so they were happy. Although they were not in the same room, they shook their heads at the same time. They had seen this child since childhood. How could he become like this after being injured? Alas, what a pity, such a talented child is wasted. Uge didn't know what the two elders said about him, let alone that his father in this body was actually very disappointed with what he was doing now. However, the child who had been hurt since childhood was not fake, or not. He was reluctant to give up his, so he worked hard to gather the medicinal materials. The head of King Glun Mountain believes that the reason why his son is like this is because his soul and body are injured. After the treatment, he will recover as before. His brilliant and gifted son will be back again. Early the next morning, the head of King Glun Mountain came with the medicinal materials. He came in person, mainly because these medicinal materials were too precious. If they were lost or robbed, he would not be able to get another copy. It was already known to everyone that his son was injured and needed soul-nourishing pills. There were many people who were thoughtful, so it was only safe if he came in person. Of course, there is another point. He has to pay Master Yu a reward, which is not a small amount. It almost takes up 1/3 of the net worth he has earned over the past few decades. It hurts, but he cares more about his younger son. He has 3 sons in total. The eldest son and the second son are already very dissatisfied because of this incident, but because the person they want to save is their biological brother, they dare not speak out even if they are dissatisfied. They still care about their reputation. Therefore, this time, he was actually under great pressure to treat his younger son. Ji Kong was not here, and after Xian welcomed the head of King Glun Mountain in, Yu Xianluo came soon after. Master Yu, please take a look. The head of King Glun Mountain took out the medicinal materials one by one and placed them on the table for Yu Xianluo to see if they were right. Yu Xianluo knew just at a glance that the medicinal ingredients were right. The medicinal materials are all right. The master can go to Mr. Wei's courtyard to rest for a while. He can bring Mr. Wei over in an hour. It actually doesn't take that long to make the elixir of Yang Xianluo, but you have to pretend for a while. It's enough if people within your circle know that you can make alchemy quickly. You should keep a low profile in front of outsiders. Your medical skills are already high profile enough. Actually, she can't keep a low profile since she can refine the soul-nourishing pill. She knew this, but she could no longer excel. The head of King Glun Mountain was very excited. He could get the soul-nourishing pill in an hour, and his youngest son would be fine. Although he still had some doubts about Yan Xianluo's alchemy skills, seeing how confident she was, he believed that she can do it. I haven't seen whether the Lord of the Southern Continent's favorite woman, Mrs. Ling, is already well. But I heard that Mrs. Ling has left the Lord of the Southern Continent. I don't know what happened between the two. I only heard that Mrs. Ling left a child behind. After writing a letter to the Lord of the Southern Continent, he left quietly. The Lord of the Southern Continent looked for Mrs. Ling like crazy, but couldn't find her, and she is still looking for her now. No matter what happened to the two of them, Master Yu's medical skills and alchemy skills are indeed very strong. The head of King Glun Mountain stood up and said, "Then there is Master Lao." Music Xian sent people to Wei Changjiu's yard and met Wei Changjiu, also known as Uge. Uge glanced at him disdainfully and didn't even say a word. He thought that Music Xian was not even qualified to talk to him now. At this moment, the remaining friendship in Music Xian's heart that he had grown up with completely dissipated. He knew that from now on, Uge and them could really only be enemies. Based on their understanding of Ge, as long as there is a chance, he will not give up plotting to kill his master and Miss Yu. He not only resents his master, but also Miss Yu. He has always felt that it was the appearance of Yu Xiangluo that brought him to this point. Music Xian's taste in songs cannot be complimented. As for Qin Suiyu, a duplicitous and ruthless person, what does he like about her? Master, please take a rest for a moment. Butler Chen will come over later to invite you all to come over. The implication is that you pack your things, and after you leave this yard, you can leave their house directly after you get the soul-nourishing pill. The head of King Glun Mountain nodded, and Music Xian left immediately, not wanting to look at Uge for a second. Although the appearance is different, the expression and eyes are very similar. Yan Xiangluo did not go back to her yard, but was refining elixirs in the main hall of the front yard. It only takes a quarter of an hour to refine a furnace of elixirs. Chen Moran was guarding outside. When Music Xian came back, he told him to ask him to invite the head of King Glun Mountain to come over in an hour. Chen Moran responded. Before, Chen Moran felt that he should give up his previous identity and do his job peacefully. Now he feels that his previous identity is nothing and there is no way to let it go. He just needs to recognize his current identity. Music Xian stood aside after entering, watching quietly as Yan Xiang fell and made the elixir. The soul-nourishing pill cannot be refined at his level. Not to mention that it cannot be refined, other alchemists do not have the opportunity to watch it like he does now. He didn't know yet that Yan Xiangluo was already a god-level alchemist and could refine god-level pills. Yu Xiangluo still controls the level of the elixir to be at the 6th level, and the grade at the top level. Therefore, a quarter of an hour later, 6 more crystal white soul-nurturing pills were lying in the pill furnace. Music Xian himself is good at alchemy, but after meeting Yuan Xiangluo, he has been hit again and again, so much so that he no longer dares to describe himself as a genius alchemist. When others describe him like this, he will humbly say that I am still far from a genius. Isn't it? In his heart, Yan Xiangluo is the genius of alchemy, and he is not very far behind the level of alchemy of Yan Xiangluo. I guess I won't have a chance to catch up in this life. As a result, Music Xian also gained a modest name on the mainland. Even though he was prepared in his heart, he was shocked by Yan Xiangluo's alchemy speed and elixir making rate. Oh my god, 6 pills at a time are still top-grade elixirs. Don't talk about him, he is a god-level alchemist in the high continent. Can a master have such a high elixir forming rate? He asked, do they have any? Ha ha ha, Music Xian laughed proudly in his heart. Their master was really discerning, and the woman he liked was indeed extraordinary.